The reason that you want to get the hard things done earlier is very simply because you do not have any responsibilities the younger you are. I do not understand why this is such a hard concept to grasp. Most of us, your parents or your parent is responsible for your well-being at that age. It's easier for you to make decisions. Your only consideration is yourself. So whether that's, making money or a career path, dating, whatever the case may be, the reason that I'm telling people to get on their grind and to be intentional when you're younger is because it's easier for you to make those decisions. There's nobody else to consider but you. So when you're looking at a career path, you don't have to look at how this is going to affect anybody else. You don't have kids. You don't have the responsibilities, car payments, mortgage payments, apartment, rent, things of that nature. Why is this so hard to understand? Why are people arguing this logic of, well, I don't know how long I'm going to live, so I'm just going to live life. Well, what if you live a long life? What is that going to lead to? I don't understand this logic.
Attention, player haters and overrated disbelievers of all kinds. I stand before you today 10 toes down as the bearer of bad news. Y'all done fucked up.
All right. What's happening? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you see on the clip. Work hard when you're young. And like he said, man, the responsibilities is one thing, but let me add something to that. Work hard when you're young. Work on being smart when you're young. Because a lot of y'all don't realize that if you don't do it when you're young, if you don't work hard when you're young, you're going to be a lazy adult. If you don't work on being smart when you're young, you're going to be a dumb adult. And what happens is you have, young, let's just say teenagers, young men and young women who, because I'm young, I got time, right? I got time on my side. And having time on your side when you're young and hardworking is a good thing. Having time on your side when you're wasting time is a bad thing. I had a football coach when I was younger. He said, everybody got to pay the piper. So pay the piper when you're young. Because if you don't, you're going to pay the piper when you're old. You're going to pay the piper. If you pay the piper when you're grown, you won't have to pay the piper when you're old. Which means, hard work is like karma. That's literally what it is. If you put it in early, you work less when you're older. If you put it in late, you work harder when you're older. You get what I'm saying? And they don't tell you that. And some people play that game. Well, even when they're young, you're in school. You're like, why do I need this information and that information? You don't know why. You don't know when it's going to come into play. So if you don't feel like learning something in school because you feel like, when am I going to use this in my adult life? You don't know yet. That's why you see so many adults now that don't really know much. That's why we saw adults when I was younger who didn't really know much because they knew how to have fun. They knew how to party. They knew how to kick it. They knew how to waste time, but they didn't know how to do anything productive. You got to understand, like, you have adults that don't even know how, that have to learn how to clean up after themselves as adults. You have adults who have to learn how to actually be responsible as adults instead of, because they're like, well, I don't want to clean my room. I don't want to follow the rules. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I just want to do what I want to do and do it my way. And what winds up happening is The only reason you could do what you want to do and do it your way when you're young is because somebody else is actually taking care of your life. Excuse me. So a lot of y'all don't realize it until you have to be out on your own, and then it's like, oh, adult life is harder than I thought. Yeah, they tried to tell you that, but adult life doesn't have to be hard if you put in the work when you're young. And you're not, and even if you put in the work and you work harder than everybody, you got to understand something. When you get into the adult world, you're still going to be behind a lot of adults. So there's a whole other aspect of learning and evolving you got to do. And then some people play this game where, you know, uh, I'm not really into the kids stuff or the high school stuff or the college stuff. It's just not me. I can't wait till I get into the real world. And y'all actually have this belief that people who, let's just go with the entrepreneur scam. These people were entrepreneurs. They saw something, they went after it. No, they had knowledge of that stuff. People don't just, people. It's a rare thing where a person goes in a direction where they have no knowledge of anything, no understanding of anything, and just starts just taking off and going into outer space as a success. It's very, very rare. There are people that are okay. There are people in those fields that go, okay, do this, don't do that. That could cost you. There are always people there. You get what I'm saying? There are always people there, and that's the other thing. Um, some people get older and they look for a mentor or somebody to mentor them in the direction that they're going, but see, they skip the step of working hard when they were younger. And now what happens is there's a lot of adults who are looking for a mentor, but they want the mentor to work harder for their dream than they're working on it, to work harder on their vision than them because they're not accustomed to it. So that's another aspect of it, right? And then, like, there are young people who make it. Like, they take advantage of, okay, well, since I'm young, since I'm in this house, you know, I'm gonna take my time and become better and better and better and better at something. And by the time I become an adult, I'm excellent at something. And those kids who become adults usually fare pretty well. But a lot of folks try to, I'm grown, let me get it together. Let me get it together now. And it's like, no, that's not how it goes. It's not how it goes. So if you don't put in the work when you're young, and I say it this way, and I hate to do this. Social media shows a lot of before and after stories. I started here, and then I focused, and I became this. And with social media, to me, if it gets in your algorithm, what it shows it's a lot of people who spent years being lazy, who spent years being silly, who spent years being stupid, who want to show you their growth at the end of the day. But, and I'm going to use this analogy, it's kind of like people who were obese and they started lifting weights and working out, and now they're in shape, but they got a whole bunch of hanging skin. It's that same premise. You know what I'm saying? So if you're young and you don't create good habits that can carry you through your adult life, you're going to create bad habits that are going to cripple you in your adult life. And then when it's time for you to 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 right the ship, to straighten up, to get yourself together, now you focus and you're going to do your thing. But when you're done, you're going to have a bunch of loose skin. As a reminder, this is how, even though you got it together now, but the reason why you are the way you are right now is because the skin is a reminder of how much you let yourself go. You get what I'm saying? So this happens all over the place. So I would say, when you're young, do the best you can. And I say this, because sometimes you don't have a vision when you're young. So people like, I don't know which direction to go in. I'm young. I don't know what I want to do. And if you don't have a direction, make your direction be hard working whatever you're doing. So you can get accustomed to working hard because um, even if it's a passion of yours, even if it's something that you really love and you love it so much that it doesn't feel like a job, excuse me, you're gonna have to learn hard work in the aspect of when you're tired of doing it some days, but you still gotta push through. That's what that's for. Because even the thing that you love to do, you don't love to do it all the time. That's an adult reality. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Tell me what y'all think. Peace.